So welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Bristow Builds. My name's Mark and I'm a general builder. This time it's personal. We've not long ago bought this house, a family of 5, got 3 kids, my wife and myself, and I'm busy with building. But during my own time, evenings, weekends, the occasional day off, we're building this place and we're renovating it. And we've got lots of ideas for the future. This is an exciting journey for us. We bought this house a little bit cheaper because there's lots of work to do on it. And I'm going to be taking you on some of that journey with me. This time it's my daughter's bedroom and it's personal. Let's give it a go. Hi guys, and welcome to this video. You join me on a bedroom renovation this time. We've got our work cut out. There's lots to do on this one. Adding plug sockets, changing radiators, refreshing the room in general, remove the coving. Ceiling is all old Artex. There's lumps and cracks all over the place that need filling. So a bit of electrics, bit of plumbing, bit of decorating. Lots to do on this one, but now the room's clear, can finally see what we've got to do. So let me take you through the different things that are going to change in this room and the work we've got ahead of us. It should be fun. So in this room, we've got an old radiator, single skin radiator. We are going to be taking that off, making it a slightly smaller one, but double skin, a lot more efficient to heat up this room. The windows have been done already. All the windows in this house upstairs have been replaced, so that's nice. We've got cracks, as you can see. The cracks are pretty substantial. This wallpaper's all rippled, so cracks will probably extend quite a long way, I should think. There's cracks, carries on down here, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it carries on all the way there as well. So we've got that to do. Single plug socket down in the corner there. That's in the wrong place. There's going to be a different setup going on here. So that needs moving. There'll be a desk over here. So we're going to create some power alternatives over there as well. Modernize that setup a little bit. This cupboard here, it's all going to be gone effectively. It's disappearing. We're just going to blank that off and get it plastered when we do the rest of the room. Reason being is there's some major alterations coming along this way. This is an older property. You can tell by sort of the style on the top of the doors. Another giveaway might be some of the old carpet that's still in situ. So yeah, older property. This wall is starting to fall down already. So you can see some pretty substantial cracks along here that have been appearing over time. That's no good. This is a block wall and it's built along the joist that's running that way. And I think it's just giving up. Some of the flooring under here is starting to drop as well. So this is another job. And unfortunately behind this section of the wall, here is the shower as you go into that door and then back again. The shower's there. This is just a cupboard with bits and bobs in. The plan eventually will be to take all of this wall down, make the shower a double width into here. So this will all be closed off. And then we'll move that door into this area and then create the cupboard here. So you'll have access to the master bedroom, access into this bedroom, and then you'll have storage cupboards in here for all your bits and bobs. So that's the plan there. That's the overall plan. So that feeds into why we're just going to get rid of this and create some internal storage in this room instead. But that's where we're heading. We've got some work ahead of us. I think it's time to start with a demo. So now we're going to look at taking off this old skirting board. Sometimes you've got to be careful when doing this. If you're trying to protect the walls and keep the walls, then just going at it with a flat bar and a hammer, putting leverage against the walls can sometimes damage the actual surface of the wall. So you've got to be careful and mindful of what damage you're doing during this stage. For me, I know that all of this is coming off. I'm going to have it all replastered professionally, get nice flat finishes back, and then I'm going to re-skirting board with a much deeper skirting board anyway, modernise the whole look a little bit. So I'm less worried about damage. But in your position, if you were worried about damaging the walls, there are some tools you can use. This one is brilliant. It's a multi-tool. Any brands really are available. They don't have to be battery, they can be corded, whatever works for you on the budget that you've got. Nice, sharp, wide blade, and then you're just going to chop a section of the skirting board out. I'll show you that now. That's a section of the skirting board cut on either side. Now we can try and just gently lever it out. And it comes out very easily. On this occasion, there's absolutely no damage to the wall at all. In fact, it's still got the bit of wallpaper lipped onto the skirting board that was originally there. So no damage at all. Comes out nice and easy. So that method will get you started if you're worried about the surface of the walls. From there on, you can go at it sideways and lever the skirting board out, and then just work your way along without causing any extra damage all the way through. So we've made a mess, which is great. That's how it all begins. What we need to do now is prepare this wall to take a frame. So it needs to be flush and flat, ready for that to be built into this gap so that we can be ready for plasterboard. Going to take this door off, remove the architrave from the door because that's all going to get refreshed. All this coving is going to go. But I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a bit of a discrepancy in the level between the top of the frame and the ceiling. So that's caused me to have a little look. And as is so often the case with older properties, look at the level. Top of the door frame is a long way away from level. If we try and get that level, you can see the height difference there. Thankfully, the ceiling is level. I've checked that, so that's fine. That will obviously get a skim to remove this lovely Artex. But that door frame, that can't stay like that. So we'll do something with the door frame. I think probably take it all out and prepare this whole area ready for a level door and fill in the hole. Here we go. So as you can see, we're making quite a bit of progress, which is great. As you can see, the door is now out with the old door lining and the old bit of glass along the top that was all wonky and no good. That's all gone. That's ready for the next steps in a little while. What we're going to focus on next is just blocking up this hole. We're going to make a frame, fill it in and get ready for plasterboard in that hole. So I'll show you how we do that next. that's the frame done above the door, ready for the door lining, so we'll move on to that next. Here's the door lining and the door ready to go. So now we just need to put the door lining together and get it nice and square into this gap. So the frame is roughly in position. I've added some diagonal braces. What we did is measured the top distance in between the frame to make sure it fits the door, 63 millimeters. And then I measured inside the frame down here and then use this diagonal brace to keep the measurement the same as the top. So the inside frame at the bottom is the same measurement as the top now. And this diagonal brace and this top piece are there to help me with the next steps. The next steps is I've added some spacers so that when it pushes against the wall, it maintains an even gap down the side. This is so that when the plasterer comes to do his plastering, he's got a bit of fill space there to pack out the frame into the new depth of the wall. So that's done on either side. I've got packers taped on top and bottom. And then because these buttons overhang the frame, I can just push it against the wall and it keeps it in the right place. So that's that. The next thing to do is just double check out here that the frame sits at the same height as the existing ones. It's not quite there yet, so I need to trim a little bit more off of the bottom of this leg just to get it flat. But yeah, as soon as it's all in position, it looks a bit funny at the minute. As soon as it's all in position, I want it to drop just a little bit on this side so that it matches nice and neatly. So next steps, trim the little bit off the bottom of this leg, and then it's a case of fixing it into the wall on either side and at the top using spacers and packers to maintain this internal measurement, 63 millimeters, all the way top to bottom. Okay, so that's the door lining in now. It's looking good. It's ready for the next steps, which is plasterboarding and then filling in some of this with a bit of bonding, ready for the plastering to go all over. Okay, so we've got some holes that I've created when I took the wall apart, basically, to get the door frame in. So now, before the plasterer comes and does his skim coat, those holes are just too deep. He won't appreciate that. So I'm going to fill them in. In order to do that, I'm going to use a mixture of PVA and water, 50-50, and then I'm just going to apply it to these blocks. You can do this to blocks of bricks. The idea is to stop all the moisture getting sucked out of the bonding coat before it has a time to really go hard and to dry. The plasterer is going to want this PVA'd anyway, so that when he comes to do his skim coat, exactly the same rules. It doesn't soak up quicker than the plasterboard does, so that he can control his plastering. So let's just go ahead and do that. 50-50, get some PVA in a bucket. Same amount of water in a bucket, and just give it a good stir. Okay, that's stirred now, so we're just going to apply it generously around the whole. So as I'm doing this, there's lots of little bits of dust and brickwork and blockwork that are all coming off. One of the advantages of doing this is making sure that all of that sticks together. So when the bonding or when the plastering, when that all comes on, it's not going to stick to the dust and then the dust falls off, it takes top coat with it. So this will secure everything ready for a little bit of repair I've got to do, and a proper job from the plasterer. Well, that's the end of this video. Thank you for getting this far. If you could, just drop a like and subscribe to the channel. That would really help me. It's the first video. I'd be encouraged to see that kind of support. The idea of this video is to take you on the journey with me of redoing this bedroom, what it takes in order to do that. It's not impossible for the average DIYer to do, far from it actually. This is all very achievable, but hopefully by watching this series you'll get an idea and maybe a bit of inspiration to give it a go yourself. It's fun, it's worth doing, and it adds value to your property. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And in the next video we're going to strip all the wallpaper off, coving, we're going to start to get ready for the plastering. See you then.